Well, good morning, everybody. It is a little bit after 10 o'clock right now, and this is IT in 10 for March 15th, 2017. Happy St. Patrick's Week. This week we're going to be talking about cybersecurity and the training and certifications involved for folks who are interested in a career in cybersecurity. Why is it important? This is a slide I stole from a presentation I had done a couple of weeks ago internally here at National Able. We were talking a little bit about the Internet of Things and the reach of IT in general. When we talk about the Internet of Things, it's this concept of interconnected devices. The most obvious and well-known one, obviously, is probably the smartphone that we all carry, but it extends much further than that. Refrigerators, and in manufacturing, it's programmable logic controllers, and in healthcare, and it's everywhere. I threw this up as a quiz question: how many devices are currently connected to the Internet of Things? The first guess we had was 7.4 billion devices. Somebody had thrown that out. That's actually the world population right now. The correct answer by most estimates is that there are about 15 billion devices connected to the Internet at any given time right now. And that number is projected to go up. Cisco has that roughly doubling here by 2020, and estimates by Intel, the computer chip manufacturer, actually has that going up to 200 billion by the year 2020. More devices, what does that mean? It means that there's more opportunity for security risk. More opportunity for security risk means that this idea of cybersecurity, of maintaining these networks and keeping them secure, is going to become acutely important, particularly in the next few years as these devices continue to multiply and explode. There are a lot of certifying bodies right now. Most of them actually are trade associations and professional groups. We'll go through some of the better known ones here. The International Information Systems Security Certification Consortium. Thank God they limited that down to ISC squared. Global Information Assurance Certification. EC Council is well known for their Certified Ethical Hacker program. We'll talk about that. CompTIA, a lot of people have familiarity with, local Chicago-based trade association professional body that's responsible for a lot of the entry-level certifications that you see in this sector. The ISACA, and I want to bring up Cisco here. Cisco is the only one on the list that's a vendor-based certification. Cisco, the CCNA security program, we actually talked about that a few weeks ago, the Cisco programs in general. I bring that up because one question you want to ask in general, one thing you want to consider as you select a security training program and a security certification is their relationship with some of the federal standards that have already been established for cybersecurity. Two of the best known ones, the Department of Defense has what they call Directive 8140, and that's entitled the Information Assurance Workforce Improvement Program. And then the Committee on National Security Systems. They have the National Training Standard for Information Systems Security Professionals. What does that mean? Obviously, the government has a huge stake. The Department of Defense has a huge stake in making sure that our federal systems are secure, and these two directives provide guidance for training and certification and management of government functions, and how the workforce should be set up to help manage these government functions, whether you're a member of the military or a contractor. And that actually provides good news for the rest of the certification industry, because all of these groups have a vested interest in government contracts. They tend to produce programs that are compliant with these, so it ensures a certain amount of uniformity and a certain level of competence from any of these certification programs and training programs. So something to consider is, hey, is the training I'm taking compliant with one or both of these standards? Another thing to keep in mind, too, is that cybersecurity is part of an overall career pathway, that you don't just go in and take a cybersecurity program without having some sort of reasonable foundation in IT. And we'll kind of walk through real quickly these three levels, the idea that there's a foundation level, and then moving into security is branching off of that foundation level. There's most definitely a good handful of certs and training programs that are entry level, and then once you have more experience, certainly some of the intermediate to more senior level certifications are appropriate for a WIOA candidate to pursue. With the foundation level, I'll run through this real quickly. You really do need some of the basics. The CompTIA certs we had kind of referred to earlier, A+, Network Plus, Microsoft, certainly their Microsoft Technology Associate for Infrastructure, and MCSA perhaps. We've talked about those in previous IT-10s. A solid foundation in ITIL, or the CCNA, the routing and switching certification, or a CCENT even. What you want to make sure is, even prior to pursuing some of the entry-level security certifications, that there is some sort of basic foundation on a WIOA client's training program to make sure that they have a full understanding of IT in general and that they're prepared to make that branch off into a cybersecurity career. Once you have that foundation, then yes, you certainly want to talk about some of the entry-level certs in CompTIA. Another good example of that, Security Plus, fair amount of WIOA-funded training here in Chicago goes to the CompTIA Security Plus program. Some of these other ones have WIOA funding, are on WIOA-recognized programs. Some of them are not. You'll probably have to look for some different training providers than you normally will to find things like the GIAC Security Essentials program, or the ISC Squared has their Systems Security Certified Practitioner. CCNA Security, that is a program that does have a fair amount of WIOA funding here in Cook County. The basic, though, is these cover the basics of network security and compliance, and how to address threats and vulnerabilities, how to deal with host security and access control and identity management. And it's important, like I said, just going back to these are all programs that are compliant with the Department of Defense directives, so there's a certain guaranteed minimum level of competency that these entry-level certifications will provide. In terms of career guidance, in terms of salary, you figure adding one of these on to the foundation level that we had talked about in the earlier slide, it's probably going to add about $1 to $2 an hour for an entry-level help desk associate. You figure if you're between 15 and 18 for an entry-level help desk person, you're probably looking at about 16, 17 to 20 if they are deciding to pursue this path in cybersecurity. At the intermediate level, a lot of these same trade groups have certifications that support folks with experience. CompTIA actually just last month, a month ago today, released their Cybersecurity Analyst Plus program. The EC Council has their Certified Ethical Hacker program. ISC Squared with their CISSP, and I don't want to bore people with acronyms, but then there's the Certified Information Systems Auditor. These are all mid to senior level programs, and the important thing to remember with all of these is that there's an experience requirement. With the exception of CompTIA, the CEH, the CISSP, and the CISA, you have to have a minimum of 3 to 5 years of experience, and you go through an application process that's not unlike the PMP application that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where you have to validate your experience in this realm. You have to validate your knowledge in, and you'll have to have somebody, a former employer, be willing to vouch for you. The CompTIA one doesn't have that, as with many of the CompTIA programs, but once again, all of these are well, the latter three, the Ethical Hacker, the Information Security Systems Professional, and the CISA are all compliant with these government directives. CompTIA, the cert is still relatively new, so they're going to be going for that. Like I said, these are more advanced topics, and these groups want to make sure that the folks involved in these have the experience requisite to take the certification exams. And that kind of leads us to our critical takeaways for this one. Hey, cybersecurity is a part of an overall career strategy. It's not, you shouldn't have a candidate going in taking CCNA security by itself unless they have some of the foundation and some of the training necessary to enter a career in IT. Plenty of good options across the board. All of these professional associations and trade groups have a vested interest in providing training that's compliant with these federal standards. And that's good news. As a WIOA professional, it means that you don't have to guess too much as to whether or not these training and certifications are going to have value in the marketplace. The federal government, with their mandated standards, is kind of guaranteeing that these training programs are meeting a minimum level of competency. And then, of course, when it comes to the advanced certifications, we'll print out these T-shirts and have them available in a couple of months. When you get into those mid to senior level certifications, you're talking about validating experience and not creating experience. So particularly going back to that intermediate level slide, make sure that if a WIOA candidate is coming to you saying, hey, I want to pursue these certs, make sure that they meet the minimum experience standards. Have them fill out the application and present it to you. A lot of great opportunities, a lot of great resources online for more information about this. The National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies. This is a federally, this comes out of the Department of Defense and the NSA, and they actually have a map you can go that shows all the training and certs and where they're available and what level they're available. These various trade groups as well also have great websites that talk about cybersecurity in general and talk about their programs in specific. The ISC Squared and the EC Council, I just grabbed two of those as good examples of well put together organizations that have a vested interest in furthering cybersecurity as a career. Well, that covers it for this week. Next episode is coming up on Wednesday, March 29th, and as always, if you have questions for future webinars, feel free to email me directly at djacobs@nationalable.org. Also, just a reminder that past episodes of IT in 10 are available on the National Able YouTube page, also available on our LinkedIn page for the IT Sector Center here in Cook County, and if you'd like access to that, feel free to email me as well. Hope everybody has a wonderful day and a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.